What's good, y'all? We back with another video, man. And today, I will be making my top 10 wrestlers to never join WWE list. Now, like all of my lists that I make on this channel, this list is my own personal list. All of these people that are on my list are personal picks of mine. So any of you who disagree, hey, I'm willing to debate in the comment section down below. But yeah, man, top 10 wrestlers to never join WWE. Now, some of these wrestlers on this list you're going to see, you might have seen in WWE. They might have had like a match or two, a dark match or something very early on in their careers. But my criteria that I'm going to use on this list is that in order for them to be counted out of this list, they would have had to have been in WWE for at least 6 months. Signed with WWE for at least 6 months. And I'm pretty sure that all of these guys I have on this list were never signed to WWE more than 6 months. So let's get right into this video. Number 10, I have the only female wrestler on this list. We have Mayu Iwatani. Now, Mayu Iwatani is one of, if not the greatest female wrestlers outside of WWE. And I would have thought a long time ago that she would have been signed to WWE or NXT a couple of years ago, man. And I'm very shocked that she has never yet been on the big stage. I'm not sure why, but I'm pretty sure she is the New Japan Pro Wrestling, their women's champion at the moment. I'm pretty sure she is. So shout out Mayu Iwatani. I think that she would, if she were to ever join WWE, she would have a great career. But like I said, man, she's one of the best outside of WWE, man. She's one of the best female wrestlers in the world. I mean, you know, WWE is no stranger to signing Japanese female talent. I mean, they have stars like Io Shirai. They have stars like Kairi Sane. And there's plenty of more, you know what I'm saying, to name. Mayu Iwatani is up there with those names, and all of those names that I've stated, they made their career, they started off their career in Stardom. So, you know, a lot of those Stardom girls, a lot of those Stardom wrestlers, man, they are incredible. We even got Momo Watanabe facing off against Mercedes Moné at AEW Revolution, and I'm very, very excited to see. Now, it's been a while since I've watched Joshi wrestling, but you know, Mayu Iwatani is one of those ones that she will go down as one of the greatest of all time. And if she were to retire and never join WWE, I would be shocked. Like, that would be very, very insane to me that Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, Asuka all made it to the WWE and Mayu didn't. Maybe this is just, maybe she never wants to join WWE. Maybe she is comfortable in Japan. But, you know, I think she was deserving to be on my list. So Mayu Iwatani is number 10 on my list. The only female that I have on this list, because I honestly think that the absolute best female talent right now is in the WWE. Most of them are signed or were signed to WWE. Mayu Iwatani is one of those exceptions. She never ever signed to the big stage, man. Never signed to NXT or WWE. So this is why she is on my list. Moving on to number 9. Number 9, we have Zack Sabre Jr. Now, Zack Sabre Jr., in my opinion, is one of the best wrestlers of all time. One of the best technical wrestlers ever, right behind Bryan Danielson. Like, he's probably one of the best modern technical wrestlers, right behind Bryan Danielson right now. And technically, Bryan Danielson has retired or semi-retired. So, I mean, you can say Zack Sabre Jr. is the best. You can argue that statement. I mean, I've always been a fan of Zack Sabre Jr. He's always been different and unique because he doesn't really use the classic moves that you see in wrestling. He's more technical based, more submission based, and like, he moves like a fucking octopus in the ring, but moves like a spider in the ring, bro. All of those submissions that he can lock on or lock in on anybody at any given moment. Like, Zack Sabre Jr. is one of my favorite wrestlers ever, man, because he's a submission specialist. And yes, you could, and I know that Zack Sabre Jr., he was on WWE television for a couple of months in the Cruiserweight Classic, but he never signed with WWE officially. He was never signed with them officially. He was just there for the Cruiserweight Classic, and that's pretty much it. I believe he only had one match on NXT, and that was it. Like, he wasn't on WWE television for more than 6 months. He wasn't on there for long, but when he was, bro, he was special. And he is one of the best talents outside of WWE, period, bro. He just won, I believe, not too long ago, he just won the IWGP World Heavyweight title. That's massive for Zack Sabre Jr. I don't think, does he still have it? I think he lost it. I think Goto is the champion now. I don't really watch New Japan like I used to back in the day. I don't really watch them as often. I just check in from here and there, but Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the fucking best. Him and Will Ospreay is like two of the greatest talents to come out of Britain, come out of the UK. Him and Will Ospreay are two of the best talents to come out of the UK scene, man. And it's so surprising to me that ZSJ never signed with WWE after the Cruiserweight Classic. It's so crazy and mind-boggling. But Zack Sabre Jr., hands down, is one of the best. I'm interested to see what he does, like, with the rest of his career. Does he stay in New Japan or does he sign with AEW? I don't know, but like I said, man, he could still make a killing and a living on the indies and just remain on top. But Zack Sabre Jr. will always go down as one of the greatest UK talents ever, and also one of the greatest talents to never officially sign or join with the WWE. I mean, him and Bryan Danielson, I believe, had a killer match at Forbidden Door. I believe it was Forbidden Door. That was an amazing match, one of the greatest AEW matches of all time. So Zack Sabre Jr. is right up there. Like, honestly, people really overlook Zack Sabre Jr. and his ability to produce great matches. But I rest my case, man. Number 9 on my list is Zack Sabre Jr. Moving on to number 8. Number 8 is Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander is a fucking beast, man. He carried TNA for a while, for a couple of years. Former TNA champion. I mean, former tag team champion alongside Ethan Page. Josh Alexander has a special look to him. He is a special pro wrestler. Kind of reminds me of Kurt Angle a little bit. It's just a very mean, ruthless, and just a mat-based style. Josh Alexander is one of the greatest talents to never join WWE, man. And early in Josh Alexander's career, now I'm not saying I was watching Josh Alexander very closely. Like, I haven't seen all of his matches, but every time I've seen Josh Alexander, it's been nothing but just straight bangers, bro. Nothing but straight bangers. And he is one of the best talent right now. I would say Josh Alexander is probably top 10 in the world right now in professional wrestling. And he's definitely top 10 outside of WWE. I'm just talking about pure, just professional wrestling, not mic skills, nothing like that. Josh Alexander is pretty damn great, man. And rumors are that he might be signing with AEW soon, man. I thought he was signing with like NXT or WWE, especially with the partnership that NXT and TNA have. But it really, really shocked me that there are rumors that he might be signing with AEW, and those are very real rumors. So we might could see Josh Alexander pop up maybe at AEW Revolution. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but Josh Alexander can go, and I would love to see him in AEW with those guys in AEW. A lot of talent that he can work with and have matches with, man. Oh my God. I can see Josh Alexander as a future AEW World Champion. Honestly, they could really, really maximize and capitalize on the star potential of Josh Alexander, the walking weapon. But yeah, man, like I said, I really wasn't that big of a fan of Josh Alexander. He really just recently grew on me. Seeing his match with Will Ospreay on TNA and other matches as well, man, he really, really grew on me, man. And I think that he has big things coming for him in the future, whether it's WWE or AEW. But I really do think he might be signing with AEW in the near future. So if you see him pop up, don't say I didn't tell you so, man. But Josh Alexander is number 8 on this list. Moving on to number 7. Tetsuya Naito. Now, I've always been a fan of Tetsuya Naito. He's one of the coolest wrestlers ever. I mean, him, Los Ingobernables, one of the greatest factions of all time outside of WWE. Former multiple-time IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, IWGP Intercontinental Champion, you name it, Naito has done it. Naito has always been a top 3 talent in New Japan. I would say at least top 5. At least top 5. He's always been in that top 5 slot. And, you know, with guys like Tanahashi, Okada, Omega, he's always been up there with those guys. And he has been, like I've said, champion before. And Naito is an interesting case because I honestly think that Naito is better off staying in Japan. I don't think that he would get the opportunity to shine like he does in Japan. And you know what I'm saying, in New Japan. I don't think that he would get the opportunities to show off his character in WWE. So I think that Naito is probably better off outside of WWE. But like I said, he has never signed with WWE, and he is one of the greatest talents outside of WWE, man. This is why he is number 7 on my list. Naito has had banger matches after banger matches, from the G1 Climax to Wrestle Kingdoms. I mean, he's done it all, man. Naito is one of the greatest legends in New Japan history. And I have no shame whatsoever putting Naito on this list because he is one of the greatest of all time. He is definitely one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers ever. He has his gimmick is just, I just love Naito, man. Tranquilo, man. Who doesn't love Tetsuya Naito? Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Naito have a run in AEW just for at least 6 months or a year. I wouldn't mind seeing Naito have a short run in AEW on American soil. I want to see how that could play, how he could do with the American crowd, man. But yeah, my Naito is number 7 on my list. Moving on to number 6. Number 6 is actually a tag team, and I have another tag team on this list as well. But number 6, I have the Briscoe Brothers. The Briscoe Brothers are one of the greatest tag teams ever to never join WWE. And it's so crazy to me that they have never ever signed with WWE, man. It's just wild. It's baffling. But I'm pretty sure that they were given the opportunity, but they decided to stay in ROH. Hey, but shout out to him, man. But rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. Like always, rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. It's so crazy to me that he's gone, man. But you know, Briscoes are like one of those tag teams. They will always go down as one of the greatest tag teams ever, bro. And it's so crazy that they've never ever stepped foot in WWE. They've been in ROH for like their entire careers, man. Like, these guys are ROH legends, Ring of Honor legends. When you think about Ring of Honor, you think of the Briscoe brothers. And it's crazy to me that they've never ever joined the WWE. But they will always go down as one of the greatest tag teams ever, man. The Briscoe brothers deserve to be on this list. And I decided to put tag teams on this list because why not? I feel like there are some great tag teams out here to never sign with WWE. And I got another one coming right after this one. But yeah, man, Mark and Jay Briscoe are number 6 on this list as a duo, as a combination, as a tag team. The Briscoe brothers. Hey, man, it's not much I can say. Like, they've had so many great matches, so many great moments in professional wrestling. I mean, right before Jay Briscoe passed away, they had that awesome feud with FTR. Bro, the Briscoe brothers definitely are one of the greatest to never join WWE. Moving on to number 5, we are halfway through this list. I have the Young Bucks. Now, I might get some hate. I might get some backlash for this. But I feel like the Young Bucks are deserving to be on this list. The Young Bucks are one of, if not the most accomplished tag teams to never sign with the WWE. Now, they've had like a dark match on SmackDown, I believe. But other than that, they've never officially signed with the WWE for more than 6 months. So the Young Bucks, I mean, what can you say? Multiple time tag team champion, multiple time tag team champions in multiple different companies, different promotions. They've started their own company to rival WWE. Now, you can take the word rival, with a grain of salt, especially nowadays, but they have done so many great things in pro wrestling, and they get so much hate, man. The Young Bucks get a lot of hate because, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the old head wrestling fans don't like their style. They've always received some type of hate from the older wrestling fans. They don't like their wrestling style. They don't like the fact that they keep using the super kicks. They don't like their looks. They don't like their gimmicks. I feel like the Young Bucks are one of the greatest tag teams to never join WWE. Possibly they are the greatest tag team to never join the WWE, man. The Young Bucks have done, bro, they are pioneers for the tag team division outside of the WWE. They have done so many great things for the tag division. You can say they've made themselves champion multiple times, but they really elevated the tag team division in AEW when AEW first started. Young Bucks will go down as one of the greatest tag teams ever. I don't think they would ever sign with WWE, especially since they started AEW. So the Young Bucks will go down as one of the greatest tag teams to never join WWE. So the Young Bucks are number 5 on my list. Moving on to number 4. Hiroshi Tanahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi is the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was always one of their top stars. He was always the face of New Japan. He was basically New Japan's John Cena. Like, Hiroshi Tanahashi carried that company for so many years. There was a point where New Japan was about to end, and they gave Tanahashi the belt, gave him the world title, and New Japan was up from there. Tanahashi is one of the greatest talents outside of WWE. He is definitely one of the greatest wrestlers ever to never join WWE. He's an icon in he's an icon in Japan. He's an icon in pro wrestling. It's crazy. It's a little crazy to me that he's never joined WWE, especially because Tanahashi's, like, out of all the Japanese talent from New Japan to come to WWE, like, Tanahashi's one of those ones, like, you would think he has so much character, so much characteristics. I mean, so much, you know what I'm saying? A lot of characteristics come with Hiroshi Tanahashi. The fans love him. I feel like there are so many things that the WWE could do with Hiroshi Tanahashi on that roster. But I think that he wants to stay in New Japan. I even think that he is like one of the head bookers in New Japan. So, like, I feel like Tanahashi is comfortable where he is at. But, you know, he is definitely one of the best to never join WWE, man. Without a doubt. Without a fucking doubt. Tanahashi deserves to be on this list. You should have known that Tanahashi was going to be on this list. He was going to go no lower than number 5. But from now on, we got some straight bangers coming your way, man. Top from number 3 to number 1 is going to be absolute killers. At the absolute best of the best. But Tanahashi's right up there, man. Tanahashi, number 4 on my list. Moving on to number 3, which is the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. Now, number 3 through number 1, like, you really could have put them in any order, but this is the order that I went with, and I'm gonna stick with. Number 3, I have Will Ospreay. Now, Will Ospreay, like I said, with Zack Sabre Jr., is one of the greatest talents to come out of the UK. And I feel like Will Ospreay could be the greatest talent to come out of the UK. Multiple time champion in the UK scene. Former IWGP World Champion. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. One of the greatest indie wrestlers of all time. One of the greatest foreign New Japan wrestlers ever. He's made his mark in AEW. Will Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers ever. Will Ospreay, right now, in my opinion, is possibly the best. He has to be at least top 3. Will Ospreay is at least top 3 wrestlers in the world right now. Like, there is no questioning about it. There are so many guys in WWE that I feel like Will Ospreay is better than. And I'm just being honest. I know Triple H said that Will Ospreay, he can't take the grind or something like that. He's not ready for the WWE. He's not ready for the grind. Bro, Will Ospreay is the fucking grind, man. Will Ospreay is one of the greatest high flyers ever, bro. Will Ospreay puts on nothing but straight 5-star matches. And I've seen this man live and in person. This guy is incredible. The things that he's done in the last 10 years in this business is fucking incredible. Will Ospreay is number 3 on this list. He is one of the best wrestlers to never join the WWE, man. And I can't wait for Will Ospreay to finally and eventually win the AEW World title, he's going to become so big when he becomes the AEW World Champion, man. I really want Ospreay to become that face of AEW. He's definitely one of the top faces, but I want to see him hold that crown jewel. Moving on to number 2, man. Number 2 is Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker. You had to know Okada was going to be on this list. Now, it was very, very tough picking number 1 through number 3, but I went with Okada number 2. Not much I have to say about Okada, but I'm going to say just enough. Okada is one of the greatest of all time in New Japan. He was essentially 1A or 1B to Hiroshi Tanahashi. I mean, he basically dethroned Tanahashi as the face of New Japan for a while. And him leaving New Japan in the first place is still shocking to me. Like, I would have thought Okada probably would have just stayed in New Japan forever for his entire career. But him in AEW is kind of crazy still. But I'm liking it. I still think that he could be used more seriously. But every time I see Okada in the ring, it's just bangers after bangers. Like, he can have this jokingly, you know what I'm saying, this comic gimmick, you know, call everybody a bitch and everything here like that. But he can still put on 5-star banger ass matches. Like, he can still be the Okada from New Japan when we need him to be. Like, he can be used as a comedy guy or in a serious moment, like in any big matchups. Okada can be used in a big matchup at any given moment. Okada is one of the greatest legends of all time, man. TNA sold the fucking bag with Okada, bro. They had Okada signed. They had Okada when he was young, and they didn't know what the fuck to do with Okada. New Japan gave Okada the keys to the kingdom, and Okada, I mean, the rest is history, man. Multiple time IWGP World Champion. Multiple time G1 Climax winner. I mean, the list goes on and on with the achievements from Okada. Multiple time top PWI best wrestler in the world winner. I mean, Okada's just one of those guys, man. And I really do feel like, man, Triple H really dropped the bag with Okada, man. Imagine he would have signed Okada to WWE. But, hey, shout out to Tony Khan. He secured the bag with Okada. Hell, Okada secured the bag too, man. But, hey, man, Okada is number 2 on this list. How could you not have Okada on this list, man? When you think of just this list, the title alone, top 10 wrestlers to never join WWE. If Okada isn't on this list, what the hell are you smoking? I want to know what the hell are you smoking, man. Because I want some of it. Number 1 on this list. I want you all to take a guess who is number 1 on the top 10 wrestlers to never join WWE. Number 1 is Kenny Omega, man. Kenny Omega is number 1 on this list. This was hard. This was very, very hard and difficult to make between number 1 through number 3 because Will Ospreay, Okada, and Omega, they are all great in their own aspects. And they've been on top for a long time, man. They've been on top for a long time, but I went with Kenny Omega. Now, the reason I went with Kenny Omega, I really do feel like Kenny Omega, he is possibly, I would say Omega is number 1 wrestler to never join the WWE. Because with a lot of these guys, there are a lot of issues with a lot of these guys that are on this list, especially guys from Japan. You know, that language barrier. They have to overcome that language barrier. That's why a lot of those top talents in New Japan stay over there, because coming to America is very hard for them to get over with the crowd. You know, if they can't really talk or speak English, and especially if WWE don't know really what to do with them, they might get lost in the shuffle. We've seen that with Shinsuke Nakamura. He was hot when he first came into NXT, into the WWE, but he kind of fizzled off because there was moments where they didn't know what to do with him. He has this language barrier, you know, and it's just like boom, bam. But now Shinsuke is back. Shinsuke is in a better position. U.S. champion. I'm loving it for Shinsuke, but I'm going off topic here. Number 1, Kenny Omega. The reason Kenny Omega is number 1 is because he does not have to deal with any language barrier at all. He has so much charisma, so much talent. He can speak multiple languages. I really do feel like Kenny Omega is one of the greatest. He is the greatest talent to never join WWE. He is. He really is, bro. Imagine him in WWE, man. If Kenny Omega ever signed with WWE, I would say AEW is dead. Like, if he were to leave AEW, Kenny Omega is like the heart and soul of AEW. I know Jon Moxley is right there as like one of the top guys in AEW, but if Kenny Omega were to leave AEW and join WWE, it is officially over for them, man. Officially over. Because Omega is like, when you think of All Elite Wrestling, you think of Kenny Omega because he's never joined the WWE. His entire career, he's made a living being the best. He never needed to join the WWE to be the best. Kenny Omega is he is the greatest talent outside of the WWE, man. He is the biggest talent outside of WWE. He is on the levels of AJ Styles. When AJ Styles was in New Japan, when he was in TNA, AJ Styles was looked as the best talent outside of WWE. Omega is that right now. Omega is the best. Even him having matches through his injuries, man, he still looks like he hasn't missed a fucking beat. So this is why he is number 1 on my list, because Kenny Omega is the fucking GOAT, man. He is the GOAT outside of WWE. If I were to predict, I really don't think he will ever leave AEW. I think that he would be one of those 4 lifers. Because like I said, without him, bro, that company gonna be dead, man, honestly. Because like I said, he's the heart and soul of that fucking company. Like, I know they got Will Ospreay and all of this shit, but Kenny Omega is one of one. Like, he is. Omega can leave for 6 months, return for 6 months, and he's still over. He's still a top guy. So yeah, man. Number 1, Kenny Omega. And that's pretty much it for this list, man. These are all of my wrestlers that I have on this top 10 wrestlers to never join WWE list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you agreed, if you disagreed, make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, y'all stay safe, stay cool. I'm gonna see y'all later, man. Peace.